All right. Disappointing loss on the road Saturday night. Tough trip. Flew in late Friday afternoon to El Paso and then drove an hour Saturday. The game was a late game. Tough day coming back Sunday morning. Disappointed in the way we played as a team. First time we faced adversity, and I'm excited to see how we respond to it. I think there's a lot of good that can come out of this. When you lose a game early in the year, you really weren't expecting to lose. I think it can light a fire to play better. And a little bit of a trap situation with the 4-game stretch we have coming up. I did not think we had the best week of practice after having some success against Abilene Christian. I think I probably pushed them too hard and talked about not being satisfied probably a little too much, and I thought we lost some confidence late in the second half in that game. We're going to be in a lot of tight ball games, okay? This is not going to be a year where we're going to blow people out. I hope we get to that point. But of the next 10 games we play, I say 7 or 8 are going to be decided by one score. I truly believe that. I think the talent level is always going to be equal, and that's what Justin and I talked about after the game. And we got to keep these guys together. I think the biggest thing we got to teach them right now, year one, is how to win close games and how to find a way to win. You look back at that game, we crossed the 50-yard line. We had 11 drives in the game offensively. We crossed the 50-yard line 7 times, and we scored 14 points, 0 in the first half. The first half interception by Kirk was devastating. We finally got down to low red, a second and goal from the 5. We call one of our red zone routes we've worked on since day one, and just a horrible read, horrible throw. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He was concussed at that point, and I did not know it. The previous play, he was concussed. I give him a play in the huddle. He could not recite the play in the huddle, and he kept looking at me like, and I'm giving it to him on the headset. So I called timeout, got him over there. I said, "Are you good?" He said, "I'm good." So I called the play, and looking back, that was a dumb coaching mistake. I should have pulled him out. I did not know he had a concussion at that point. Should have pulled him out or called a run play to protect him. Really bad decision on my part. So after that, he came to the sideline. We could tell he was messed up. So we got him over there, evaluated for a concussion, and he does have a concussion. So we'll move on from that and see how he feels this week. So that was a devastating interception, red zone turnover. Then we missed a field goal before the half, and that's 10 points right there that we spotted them. Had 7 drops across the 50 and only scored 2 touchdowns. That was disappointing. Then defensively, we played great in the first half, pretty much give up a shutout, gave them a short field, held them to 3. So the offense was asleep in the first half. Defense was awake. It flips in the second half. The most disappointing thing is we took the lead twice, and we gave up touchdowns on ensuing drives immediately after. We only held the lead for 5 minutes of real time twice. So give them credit. They made plays. I can't tell you how many I've had bad dreams about contested slant routes for the last 48 hours. They completed 7 slant routes against man coverage. So credit to them. They made the plays. Quarterback made plays when he had to. They did a good job of getting the ball out. I thought our defensive front dominated. They only had 39 yards rushing. We rushed for 147. We had 100 yards more of total offense than them almost. So statistically, you look at the game, and I thought we were the better team. And anytime you're the better team and you don't get the job done on the road, that's coaching. And I got to look myself in the mirror and figure out how we can be better. I do think we can use this as motivation. I do think we've got a long schedule left. This is not a conference game. I did not think we handled a road environment very well. I thought it was a tough place to play, and it was louder than I thought, and we had some snap issues and some pre-snap issues. So disappointed in that. We got to get some of that cleaned up. Navy's a great football team. I know their head coach really well. I've called plays against him a couple times as a coordinator, and him being a defensive coordinator, faced him a couple times. I know their offensive coordinator really well. Does an awesome job. Great staff, really good men, do it the right way. Hard-nosed football team. Anytime you're playing an academy, you know what you're going to get. And these guys are really good, and they know how to win. And, we'll be a 2-touchdown underdog at home. And what an opportunity for our fan base to show up for this team. What an opportunity for our team to show up for this fan base and play well against a really good opponent. Their quarterback's an exceptional player. Their scheme offensively changes the game because it shortens the game and maximizes all your mistakes. I thought we were exposed in some areas last week, and we'll be exposed in different areas this week. We've got to find a way to get this thing to the fourth quarter and make a couple more plays that we did not make last week. So I'm not down on our team at all. I've never been more encouraged to what we have. give New Mexico State credit. Navy's a great ball club, and I'm looking forward to watching our kids play. I think we'll have a great week of practice. Questions?
When will you know if Kirk Francis is going to play this week?
Probably find out by Thursday. You know, some concussions are 5 days, some of them are 10 days, some of them are 15 days. It's all based on concussion protocol. You know, he got popped pretty good, so we'll see. I know last year he was out for 10 days with a concussion. So we'll see. It's 50-50.
What's the protocol that y'all have on your sideline for identifying players who have concussions and pulling them out?
Yeah, so our trainer obviously watches the game very closely. We have medical doctors that travel with us. And then the player, you know, has the responsibility of being honest with us as well. You know, hey, my bell's rung. I need to see the trainer. So when I got Kirk over there and saw that he was in tears because I think he knew he was concussed, and I kept telling him, "Are you okay, Coach? I'm good. Don't take me out. Don't take me out." And I was like, "Hey, man, I'm not putting your health at risk. You need to go be evaluated." After he threw the interception. So I wish it had happened to play before, and that's something I got to educate him with is, hey, you got to be honest with me, man. Like, if I know you're tough and you want to show toughness as a team captain, but you're hurting the team if you try to go back in the game. Very proud of the way he played. I thought he had a decent first half. I would have been excited to see what he did in the second half, and he's going to come back from this, whether it's this Saturday or next Saturday, and be our starting quarterback, and I'm excited to watch him play. So he'll learn from it.
How does your game planning change if Baylor Hayes is your starting quarterback?
Not a ton. I mean, Kirk can handle more volume because he's played more games. He's got 11 career starts now where Baylor's got 1. I will say Baylor's very smart. He's got that Baker Mayfield about him, like he's very competitive, talks smack. He's a young stud, and I think he's going to be a great player. He knows my offense. He knows what we do well. I will not put as much volume on him. I will not put him in bad situations. We're going to make sure that he's protected because now if Kirk didn't play, you're down to really 2 quarterbacks that are functional with a true freshman. It wouldn't be fair to put him in the game. He does run, which he brings a little different escapability element. I don't know how many called runs we'll have for him just because there are depth issues there, but he brings some athleticism to the position and twitch to the position that Kirk doesn't have.
What did you feel like in the second half caused some of the issues you had defensively getting off the field? I think it was 9 of 13 they were on third downs.
Yeah, just competitive plays. Like we can sit here and we called cover 2. We called press man. We played a lot of man. And we were on body in third medium, third and short. They completed a go ball on 3rd and 8, and then they completed 7 competitive slants in the game. So we got to work on it this week. Probably could have potentially dropped a defensive end or a defensive lineman underneath a couple of them, but they hadn't shown a ton of that in the game plan. We think we have good corners, and we think we have good wideouts, and those 2 positions got to play better. We've got to have more explosive plays offensively. We're nickel and diming way too much. We've got to get the ball down the field. We've got to have explosive plays, and I'm talking 20, 30, 40, 50-yard gains. I think we've only had 2 or 3 all season. I can think of the Brody Foley touchdown both weeks in the high red zone, and then the 2 runs we busted versus Abilene Christian, then the run we busted against New Mexico State for about 25 yards. So we got to be able to hit home runs. If we're going to score 40 points like we need to hit home runs. 14 points is unacceptable in college football. In today's game, unacceptable. Thought we played well enough to score 28 or 30, if you hit a couple shots. And, Booker's wide open on the 4th and 4, and the ball gets batted. Just a little bit of bad luck. We get a turnover, and there just happens to be 18 seconds left in the game. Like, why can't that turnover happen and give us a short field earlier in the game or later in the game to go win the game? Just a little bit of bad luck. Baylor made a poor decision late. We got to make explosive plays, and we got to get off the field on 3rd down schematically.
Responding to adversity has been something you've been talking about even since the spring. So now that it's here, first loss, injuries piling up, what does a good response look like? Yeah,
finally got some adversity. I'm approaching it with an attitude. This is good. I want to find out who we are, find out what this ball club's about. We've said all the right things, and it's been 9-10 months of sunshine and roses, right? Like the Trey Lamb era is undefeated, and we won a big game last week. All right, now what? So we've trained them for this. We knew we weren't going to go undefeated. There's not one person in this room that thought we'd go undefeated in year one. Okay, we still have a lot of goals in front of us. We can win this league. We can make a bowl game. All those things are very attainable. We have to get our guys to believe we can do it at their core. I think there is a lack of belief at times late in games that we have to get over.
What makes the Academy football and Navy especially difficult to prepare for?
Really well coached. You got to think their favorite 4 hours of every day they have is going to practice, which is different from a normal college student. I respect the heck out of them. Great young men that serve our country when they're done playing, and I can't say enough good things about the way Army and Navy, Air Force, VMI, Citadel, I've coached against those teams, how they run their programs. It's clean, it's aggressive, they're nasty, they play hard, and we'll see how hard we play. But the scheme is what affects you the most. They shorten the game. You're only going to get 8 possessions where normally you get 11. Field position plays a huge part. Turnovers plays a huge part, even more so than a regular opponent. Like the other night, we go 3 and out, have an average punt. They get the ball at the plus 40, and next thing you know, we get them to 3 and out. We get the ball right back. You're playing an academy. You may get a stop, but it's going to be about 20 minutes later because they're going to go 3 yards in a cloud of dust, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, take a play-action shot over the top, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's just frustrating from a rhythm standpoint for both sides of the ball.
By the way, can confirm the smack talk from Baylor too, especially on the touchdown.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. You mentioned about having confidence and just kind of believing. What else goes into teaching guys how to win? You have to learn how to win in a process like this. Is it just the one time seeing it and accomplishing it and then moving forward? Like, how do you approach that from a staff perspective?
I think you talk about separating. I think you talk about play calling. I think when you feel like you got a chance to step on somebody's throat, you be aggressive in the way you coach. You don't go conservative when all of a sudden you're up 1 point in this 4-minute drill. You be aggressive in those moments. From a play calling perspective, I think the kids feel that. I think you get the ball to your best players in critical situations. Like we were very intentional on that last drive. Who was touching the ball? Booker and Mackay and Dom. That's one thing we talked about in the headset. Like before that last drive, 3.5 minutes left, 3 timeouts. We're not in 2-minute mode, but 0, 8, and 21 are going to touch this football, period. So your best players got to be able to make plays down the stretch. You got to get critical stops. You got to have a big return. But the biggest thing we need to do is fill it. We need it to happen one time. Like we need to go beat Navy on a last play or in the fourth quarter. We need to beat a good opponent, an FBS opponent in the fourth quarter. Even Abilene never got tight. Our kids never felt that tightness. So you got to be able to separate. Getting 2-score leads is a big deal. Calling it aggressive when you get a lead. All those things contribute to how to win a game in the fourth quarter. We're going to be in a bunch of them.
Still early in the week, but I know you guys were back at it yesterday. What was kind of their resolve? Are they ready to move on, kind of past it and get ready?
We didn't even watch the film. We got in at 5 a.m. I slept on my couch in my office. Somebody woke me up at 7:30. Our GM came in there to talk about something, and I was asleep. So I was mad at him. And then I got up yesterday, 8 o'clock, and we got to work on Navy. I just told our staff, we're tired. It was a hard trip, non-conference game. So what? Now what? The game's over. We can sit here and dwell on it. Schematically, it's so different this week. We really want to get a head start on what we're seeing. So our kids get past it a lot faster than the coaches. Nobody feels worse than me. And then nobody feels worse than the staff, and then the players, and then the players' families, then the fans, then the alumni, in that order. So they were bumping music in the locker room yesterday afternoon. They were ready to go. I think they were mad. They were upset. They didn't play well. We didn't play well. We didn't play well complimentary. But I do think our guys think we have a good team.
How early have you been kind of looking at and implementing a few Navy elements?
Yeah. All summer we did it on Tuesdays for 30 minutes on defense. Offensively, They're a little different. Honestly, they're a little bit like Abilene Christian. They're odd front. They're going to come from everywhere, multiple coverages, protect their back end. Very physical point of attack. They got a good rush. Jack, stand-up backer. They've got a nose guard that is all-world. Number 96, he's the best player we've played against all year. Got to know where he is, all-conference player. They're hard to block. So we're going to have to do some things on offense. Defensively, we've been working on this for a while.
Adversity standpoint, it feels like their scheme in general just presents that all the time, right? Because it's death by 1,000 cuts sometimes. But
No question.
They have the ability as well. They've shown it to mix in the explosive play because Horvath has been very good over his career.
Yeah, ask Oklahoma. He took one for 95 yards, and they couldn't catch him, and they got SEC speed. So the quarterback run is certainly a problem. The other problem is you're having to get safeties and corners into run fits in the alleys. And then all of a sudden 4 verts happens from a play action belly G pass, and you've got tight ends and slot backs running down the field wide open. So they can lull you to sleep a little bit. The good thing is our defensive coordinator was at University of Connecticut, and they played Navy and Army every year, when he was there on the defense side of the ball. We played Wofford, which was a triple option team in our league. We played VMI back when they were triple. We've played Kennesaw State when they were ranked number 3 in the country, triple option. So we've seen it, and we have a plan, and it will be different. You can't do the same thing every year because they study that. I guarantee you Coach Cronick is going back and watching Mercer versus Gardner-Webb, Kennesaw State versus Gardner-Webb when we faced these type of offenses. And he's going to find some things, and we're going to tweak some things. We're not going to be the same. So, Coach Cronick, if you're listening, we got some new looks, hopefully.
This offense requires, their offense requires complete focus the entire game. They wear on you. That's kind of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know in college football you got to be aware all the time. Is this one even more that way? Is it even a little bit harder defensively because you lose focus for a second and they're gone?
No question. All the pillars and musts that we have on defense are going to be attacked more this week than ever. Edges of the defense, big deal. You've got to have an edge on every play. You got to tackle. You're going to have one-on-one tackling opportunities. You have to tackle well. Block destruction is going to be huge. Creating a turnover here or there. If you can get 1 or 2 turnovers against an academy, that is a big deal. You gained a possession, and they don't turn it over very often. They got a veteran quarterback who can run and throw. So certainly presents issues. The other thing it presents is it hurts your offense because you're standing over there watching, and you can't get in rhythm. And you go 3 and out, it's almost like a turnover against these guys because you don't get it back for a while. So, I know they know what their strengths are. We have an idea of what their strengths are. We've got to protect our weaknesses this week. And our D-line's got to play well. We've got to tackle well. We've got to block struck. We've got to have edges. Edges is a big deal.
Commonalities in college football all the time. One of them is put the game behind you. Everybody says it, win or lose. It's harder to do in a situation like this, and especially your first time. Do you have any things you do specifically to you that you try to do that for these guys?
Had it been at home, I think we would have a harder time getting over it. With it being on the road and a late night game, we get back at 5 a.m. and I'm in a haze right now. I feel like I just got punched in the mouth. Our team felt like that. Had opportunities to win the game, and I think I told him yesterday after practice, I've already forgotten about New Mexico State. It's not going to affect anything moving forward. So our guys are over it, and we're excited to begin American Conference play without question.
Coach, I sensed from you all that you were a little frustrated with trying to run pace and having them slow walk their substitutions in. Now, there's supposed to be a rule that they're not supposed to be able to do that without getting a delay of game penalty and without trying to get you in trouble. What is that rule, and how can you – you really can't fight it, and who's responsible? Is it which official has to call it?
It would be the head umpire, head official. The white hat would have to call that. And, we talked about it this summer when Brian, the head officials, came. The rule states they have to be getting off the field at a reasonable pace. So there's no, jog or walk. They never sped them up. I asked, and he was like, Coach, as long as they're at a reasonable pace, we're good. And as long as they're not causing you to get a delay of game, we're good. But certainly affected the game. And that's bad on us. I thought we could have done a better job. We subbed too much early in the game. We were trying to get the right guys in for the right plays instead of just going and doing what we do. We overcoached. And when we overcoached, they had a great plan. They knew tempo was the issue. They know we like to huddle and keep their personnel out there and stampede into different formations and change pace and change tempos in the game, and they did a good job. Sometimes when you sub, the defense has the pin last, and that happened probably 6 or 7 times. We should have been better, and that's something I'll learn from.
So it ends up being the perception of what reasonable pace is then, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's their call. If it's read in the rule book as reasonable pace. I've had umpires before or head officials before speed them up and say you got to jog off. I've had some that say they can walk for all I care. It's just whatever his preference is.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, Rain Kane.
Coach.